When I was a child, the American Mint had kept the U.S. quarter exactly the same for several decades, with the exception of 1976 when they had a bicentennial quarter. But then when I was in college, they started making commemorative quarters of all of the U.S. states, and they have been making 5 or 6 commemorative quarters ever since then. Canada kept their design very similar for many years, but in more recent years, they have been making many different commemorative designs. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Canadian quarters of my collection. And most people think of Canadian quarters, they're going to think of the quarter like this one that has a moose on it. This one is 50% silver and has the earliest design of Queen Elizabeth II on it. The original design of the Canadian quarter only had the words 25 cents Canada and then the year on one side with all of these maple leaves and a picture of the crown on top of that. Here is a coin from 1902 with Edward VII on it. This one has a similar design, but it's a little bit newer. This specific coin is well worn to the point where you can't see the year on it. But when we flip it over, we see that the king at the time was George V. By 1920, they had stopped using sterling 92.5% silver and started using 80% silver in their coin mixture. Here's another coin with George V, well worn. And then by 1943, they had switched to the moose design seen here. And we have George VI, who was Queen Elizabeth II's father. In 1967, Canada celebrated a centennial, and they had I believe that is a panther on their quarter for this year. By this time, they had switched to 50% silver, but had Queen Elizabeth on it. Not long after that, they stopped using silver in their circulating coins altogether, such as this one from 1975. By now, the portrait of the Queen still had not changed, and that was one of the biggest changes to this coin over the next several years. In 2001, we still had the moose on this side, but here we have an updated portrait of Queen Elizabeth. In 1973, they were celebrating a centennial of something else. And just like the U.S. had our bicentennial quarter, they had another centennial quarter, this time with a Canadian Mountie who was also horseback. Other side had the same portrait of the Queen. Here's a 2006 version of the quarter, mostly so we can show off the even newer version of Queen Elizabeth. This one also added a Montreal mint mark below the Queen's portrait. Just like the United States made a quarter for every state, in 1992, Canada made a quarter for every province and territory, such as the Yukon Territory shown here. That year was also I believe it was Canada's bicentennial, as they have 1867 through 1992 as the date below the Queen's portrait. Here's the coin from Northwest Territories. A lot of these coins, if they are not the same in English and French for the benefit of the Quebecians, it will list the province, or in this case territory, in both English and French around the edge. And there's the front design again. For all these province quarters, we're not going to look at the front for each one because they'll all be the same. As we move on into the provinces, we're going to look at Alberta, and this one features some local rock formation. British Columbia also shows off some scenery. There are some mountains in the background with water in the foreground, and I don't know if that is dolphins, sharks, whales. I can't really tell what the animals are in front. Manitoba appears to have some kind of fort, or maybe it's a house, and also has a guard cannon there in the front left. New Brunswick has a nice scene of a covered bridge. Newfoundland has someone, I guess a pioneer in some kind of early form of exploration or rowboat. Nova Scotia has a lighthouse. Ontario shows a small tree in a field. Prince Edward Island has more scenery, this time along the shoreline. Quebec has what I believe are a couple of sailboats in the water with a rocky shoreline in the background. Maybe that's not the one closer to the middle may not be a sailboat. Maybe it's an oil derrick, but they're in the water. Saskatchewan has an agriculture and industry theme here. We've got some what appears to be wheat in the foreground and a couple of tall buildings in the background. In 1999, they wanted to have another go at a different commemorative quarters, and this year they made a different quarter showing off one of the country's virtues every month. Here is the January 99 quarter, and if you look closely here, all of the figures here, there's a 1 that makes a totem pole, and then 3 other figures that make the next 9s. I believe the first 9 is an indigenous person, and then the last 9 appears to be a Canadian Mountie. As we flip this one around, the February 99 quarter has what I believe is a drawing of primitive cave art. March of 99 appears to celebrate the logging industry. April of 99 has an owl in the foreground and a polar bear behind it. I don't have all the 1999 quarters, so we're going to skip to June, and this one has a nice steam locomotive. Here is August of 99. And then November has this airplane. In 2000, they decided to do the quarter of the month design again, except this time they were naming the, instead of giving the month, they were giving the virtue represented. This one is for health. Flip it around to see the Queen here. As you're going to see here coming up, Canada these days makes so many commemorative quarters that, as an American, I just cannot keep up with all of the designs, so I just pick up what I can. I apologize for going out of order, but here I find we have a 1999 July quarter with this artistic design on it. Back to 2000, here is the coin design for Celebration. And then here is the coin for Wisdom. We have a design of an older man who is passing along information to a younger boy with a sunset in the background. I like that design. In 2006, Canada started to experiment with colorizing their commemorative quarters, starting with this one, as they have a breast cancer awareness quarter. And then in 2008, they released this quarter, very similar heads side of it. We're back to the Montreal logo at the very bottom. And with the 90th anniversary of the armistice, or the end of World War I, we have the red poppy quarter. Now, in Canada, I believe they use the red poppy as a kind of a symbol for remembering memorial or veterans, remembering them. I remember all the uproar when this coin came out. There was a lot of people who wanted to get it, and the Canadian Mint knew they could not just get this out to everybody, and so they ended up partnering with the Tim Hortons chain, so that if you had purchased something there, you would actually receive this as change from there, and they sent them there first before they could distribute them everywhere else. The colorized commemorative quarters are here to stay, and in this one we have from 2010, it's the 65th anniversary of the end of World War II. And again with the red poppy design, although now we have two of them. In 2009, they started a set of these quarters to celebrate Olympic achievements, and this one is celebrating women's hockey. This one honors speed skater Cindy Clausen's performance at the 2006 Olympics. In 2011 started a series of artistic designs of wildlife. This one with the bit of blue on it is for an orca whale. And this one represents a falcon. In 2012, they started a series of 200th anniversary of the War of 1812. And this one honors Tecumseh. A lot of writing on the design here. Since the War of 1812 lasted longer than 1 year, so did this design series. And here we have, in 2013, we have from the same series, de Salisbury. I'll admit that I do not know my Canadian history, so I don't know who this is. Have one more from this series, this one also from 2013. Honors a lady with the last name of Sicord. One more design we're going to look at today. This one is dated from 2015. and it commemorates the 50th year of the Canadian maple leaf flag. And so we have a large flag with many people around it stretching it out. And I like on this one how it is etched so that the white area is reflective and the red part is more of that matte look. But there is also a colorized version of the same design. Again, nice how they have different shades of white and red to make it look like a kind of a waving flag. Hope you liked this video. If you did like this, let me know if there are other countries that you would like to see represented in kind of an evolution of coins, or if you want to see some of the other Canadian coins. They have, of course, pennies, nickels, dimes, half dollars, and dollars, just like the United States, plus a $2 coin. So let me know if you'd like to see that, or if you want to see coins from another country. I've already made a video from Mexico, but there are plenty other countries that I could make that I have many coins from. Thanks for watching. Bye.